Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you all here at Sussex on a lovely sunny day. We of course decide to stay inside and enjoy the digital. It's my pleasure to have people from British Library Labs with us, people from Sussex Humanities Lab. I think it's going to be a great program today. I hope you all enjoy it. This is not supposed to be like us talking here and you sitting there and consuming. This is supposed to be a dialogue. We really want you to engage with the materials that we're going to present to you. They're very interactive. Shout, scream, whatever you want. Ask questions. Interrupt everyone, except me, of course. Because this is about what we could, should, might do with all the digital resources that are around these days. There's a competition involved, and Henry will tell you all about it. So I do hope you have a great day, and I do hope we have a great day. And our first speaker is Tim Bishop.
Thanks very much. That's great. First, I'm going to say welcome. I'd also encourage you to go and grab more croissants. They're sitting there quietly, going to waste. And I think a wasted croissant is a tragedy. Okay, it was not that big a tragedy, but a tragedy of some sort. Anyway, thanks again for coming. And what I would say about this project, and what this day does, is actually bring together two things. And of course, the terrible thing is that it's all supposed to be all very interactive. We're going to start with me talking, which is not ideal, but nonetheless. And it brings together two projects, which it seems to me are doing something important and different. And just getting them both into the same room strikes me as a really good thing to do. And before we get down to the program proper, I just want to say a couple things about those two initiatives, both of which are doing something new. The British Library Labs in particular is intervening in a space few others have had the confidence to inhabit. This is now, I think, the third round of the labs competition. And in each round, what they have done is essentially paired the technological expertise of the British Library with a scholar or independent researcher and created something new and different. And in doing that, they are in a sense reinterrogating and reinvestigating the role of the library. In this case, the library, the British Library, the essentially great archive of certainly Western culture. The British Library Labs is reaching out to both humanist scholars in need of technical support and expertise, and as importantly, to developers keen to pursue an idea with academic or humanist twist. And in doing so, the lab working in a space which neither the academy and higher education nor the private sector are actually any good at. The BL Labs creates a space in which the intellectual capital of the library, all those collections, increasingly digital collections, is made available to users in an entirely new way. And by acknowledging the existence of the library's own great technical expertise, and essentially inviting people from across the piece to partner with it, the lab is rethinking what it is to be a reference library, an information professional, an engineer servicing a technology of knowing. And as over the course of today, the BL Labs projects are demonstrated, and which I hope you have a chance to play with. I very much hope you have a chance to consider just how novel and innovative that is. It is new. And we need to take account of the implications of that newness and that approach. The Sussex Humanities Lab is also seeking to break through a few boundaries and bring people from different disciplines and backgrounds together. It's based on a 4-year investment by the university, essentially trying to create a new structure within the university that facilitates and makes possible working across all disciplinary boundaries of the humanities and STEM. It's not yet fully working, and it won't really be launched properly until September. But building on the University of Sussex's 50-year tradition of interdisciplinarity, the Humanities Lab is dedicated to the notion that the boundaries that we have inherited are all a bit rubbish. That the taxonomies of knowledge that separate literature from history, geography from anthropology, science from the arts, is a legacy of an older technology of knowing, mainly the book, which should no longer limit how we perform the roles of humanists or a scientist. If the British Library Lab is reinventing the notion of the research library, and I very much believe it is, the Humanities Lab is seeking to reinvent the academy. And don't get me wrong, the taxonomies we inherited from the Enlightenment in the 19th century formed a wonderful, coherent, and powerful technology of knowing. They are the things that essentially contributed to the formation of modernity, that made us and made our knowledge of the world usable by harnessing it to a bureaucracy of locating and applying knowledge. The library, as it existed in the 19th century and the 20th century, was a wonderful thing. The fact that it is no longer in its old form, quite fit for purpose, is simply something that we need to deal with. I always think of the old manuscript catalog at the center of the British Library's reading room. All 140 volumes of it, each one weighing 5 or 6 kilos, building upper body strength and a whole generation of scholars. The point about that is that it formed a discrete and working technology, which in association with its collection of books, the British Library's collection of books, mandated by the newly formed bureaucratic nation-state in the 19th century, in combination with the great national museums and research institutes, all of them formed, if you like, the large Hadron Collider of their day. They were the technologies for knowing. And they worked. But as the stuff of the dead and the stuff of the living turn into something new, a digital trace of a lived experience rather than a textual trace of that experience, the usefulness of all that 19th century technology of knowing has, in many respects, broken down. When all the records of experience we work with take a digital form, a taxonomy of knowledge that is delineated by different styles of writing or forms of evidence seem to me to make no sense whatsoever. So the Humanities Lab is dedicated to the idea that we can find a better and more powerful way of serving the oldest and most central values and purposes of academic scholarship in a newly digital world. What I hope the British Library Labs and the Sussex Humanities Lab share is a commitment to finding new ways of exploring both the past and the present, and ways of enacting the academy, enacting that role we are all pretty much committed to, and enacting that beautiful conversation that lies at the heart of civil society and which the academy is central to. So, just by way of conclusion, I should say, I hope that these initiatives actually help to push the academy along, help to push that broader conversation along, and help us to actually intervene at a central point, at a absolutely central moment in the creation of a new form of analysis. That just leaves me to pass over to Henry Mayhew from the British Library and the British Library Labs. Did I do that all with Dr. Strangelove?